Hey, and what's up, developers? Tired of boring to-dos apps? Today we are building stunning task manager that will level up your Android skills. In just 30 minutes, you will master MVVM architecture, room database, view binding, material design, zero fluff, just pure coding. Let's jump right in. For this project, I will be using empty with activity, click next, and then I will give my application some name. I say my task manager, click finish, and wait for your application to get loaded. Once your application is up and running, then what you need to do is click on the project and select Android and go to the Gradle script, open the buildgradle.kts and go to the plugin and try to add ID and use org.jetbrains.kotlin.conf. This conf we need for the room database, and then the second one you need to have the com.google.devtools.ksp. And this one you need to define the version, and the version for me, which is working fine so far, 2.0.1.0.21. Let's sync our project and see if this COP and the KSP version works fine for us. Okay, you can see no error. Then the second thing, you need to add some dependencies. I will just quickly copy paste over here and explain to you. The first thing we added is the material design for the designing, and the second one we added here for the room database, which is like the room runtime, room KTS, and room compiler. And this cart won't work unless you add the cart over here first. And the third thing is the life cycle, for which we are using for our view model and the live data. No worries if you cannot just find this code or copy from my video, you can just find the source of the code in the description. So you can simply copy from there and paste in your Gradle and sync your project. Okay, there is no issue in our project. One more thing I need to do here, since we will be using the view binding, I will add the build feature data binding. Actually, not data binding, we will be using view binding, and that I make it true. And our target SDK, I make it 36. The compiled SDK also 36. It's up to you. You want to increase or not. For me, the 36 works fine. So I will make it 36 and sync my project again. All good, no issue. Let's create our directory structure. First of all, how about we run our application first to see what's there right now and what we will be achieving at the end of this video. Meanwhile, I will be creating my directory structure since my application is running and it will be loading soon. So let's create our directory structure first, or we will wait for the application to up and run. The purpose of running application is just to see if we made any mistake by adding any dependency. So if your application is running, it means there is no issue in your dependencies and you can just carry on with your development. Okay, so there is no issue. I will go quickly structure my directory. First directory is data. The second one will be my repository. And the third one will be my view model, and the fourth one will be UI. And just in case, I will add one more directory, which will be our utils. Okay, so first we start from our data, and in the data we need three more directories, or we don't need any directory, we just need 3 files. So first thing I will add here is one data class and name it task. So in this data class, what do I need? First of all, I will treat this data class as my table. So I will annotate it with the entity table name task. And then inside the table, first thing will be primary key, which I will say auto-generated true. And this should be ID, and the ID should be long, and I initiate it with 0. The other parameters I set is title, and the third one is description, and I will need few more here. First, I say val, and this one should be priority, priority, and priority should be long, and I say this one is equal to 1. I will explain to you why I take it long. And there will be 3 priorities. One priority is low, medium, and high based on our design. And the other parameters I will set is completed with Boolean, and initially it will be false. And the last one will be created 8, and this one I will keep as a long, and this one will be my time. Current time, which should be date dot time, and this date we need to import from our Java utils. Okay, this our task class is ready. Okay, now what do we need for our data class is actually some function, and this function one is the get priority color, not the get priority color, and this color we will set based on the, since we define long there, it should be long here, and we set based on our options. Since this is one will be low, and or what we say, the 1 is low, the 2 is medium, and the 3 is high. So we say if return when priority is 3 long, then return 0 x, we just say green. If f, and it should be 5.2 and 5.2. It should be okay. And the medium one is okay, it's auto-generated some code, but I don't want this. I will say B74D. And the third one is okay, we leave it by default. Okay, so this one should be green for low. This one is orange for medium, and this one is red for high. So initially we set 1, which is actually low, and 2 is medium, 3 is high. So this is how now you can understand the flow. Okay, we need one other function, and this function will be get priority string, priority text, and this one will be also returning string. And string we say return when priority 3 high. Okay, this one is perfect. We don't need to do anything else over here, and just need to close our this function. All right, so the task is done. Let's create another file, and this file will be our interface, and this interface we call it task DAO, since this will be our DAO queries, and we initiate it with the DAO. And now let's say query, and this query should be select steric from task from this table, order by created it, descending. Okay, so this one should be function get all tasks, and this task should return the live data and list of task. So we grab all the tasks from the table, from our local table, and then pass as a list of tasks to this function. So from when we call this function from our repository, so we will get all this information, the task, no matter how many tasks are there. The other thing is our let's make another query, but this query will be based on the select steric from task, where we don't say is completed, we say where ID is equal to task ID. And this one, the task ID, we will take as a parameter. Yeah, so this, and we will return only one task. And this one, we don't need to have it to be live. So just one task. And then we say, let's say insert, and then insert, we say on conflict. Once there is a conflict, then what should we do is on conflict strategy dot replace. And this should be a suspend function. And this suspend function, what should it do is insert task and take task as a parameter and return long. Other one is the update. And the update, we don't do anything, we just suspend function, create a suspend function, and this one will return nothing. One, we create the delete one, and this delete also suspend function, and this suspend function will also just delete a task, and we just take a task as parameter and return nothing. The last one we say query, and this query should delete all the task. We say no, not delete all, but just delete from task where ID is the task ID. Okay, we just delete a specific one. Suspend function, delete the task. Okay, our DAO class is the DAO interface is ready. What we are doing is like first we're just grabbing all the tasks from the table, and the second is like we're grabbing only one task based on the task ID. And the third one, what we are doing is we inserting the task. If there is a conflict, we replace the task. The third one, we are updating the task with the new task. The fifth one is actually we are deleting task, and this one will be like whatever task you passed to here, it will delete the task. And the seventh one is actually we are deleting a task based on the task ID. Okay, so cool. Let's create the instance of our database, and this one will be a file. Maybe just say task database, and here we say database, and this database should have the entities, and the entities currently we have this should be list of entities like list of tables, but currently we have only one, so we just say entities task.class, and the version you need to define one, and the export schema is false. Okay, this one will be an abstract class, and the class name we say task database, and this task database should extend the room database, and the room database is a method. And now we need to call we call this abstract the task. We actually create the task DAO. We create the task DAO instance, and now we need to create the instance of the database instance of the task database. So what we need to do here, we just say companion object, and this companion object should return we initiate one instance, and this instance first we just initialize it with null, and then we just say get database, create one function with the get database which will have a context, and then this database should return the instance which we just created, the instance with synchronized wall.instance room database builder, and this builder should have a context dot application context task database class. Okay, we just give the database some name and then make it build, and then nothing more. Okay, yeah. So we created the instance of our the database. What we are doing here is like we just creating one instance, initializing with null, and then we are creating one function to get database, and from that database, what it will return a database, the task database, and we are returning an instance of the database, and then we are creating the database with using the room database builder, and we just passing the application context wherever you want to use it. You will be able to use it, and this is the object we are passing, and this is the name of the database, and we are building that one, and then we are returning the instance of our database. Cool. So let's create our repository. For the repository, let's create the Kotlin class, and we say task repository. Okay, so a repository should have a constructor, and the constructor should have some arguments, and that arguments we need the DAO, the task DAO, and we pass the task DAO to our repository so we can access all the properties of the task DAO. So we need one variable here, and then we say all tasks, and these tasks are the live data, and this should be the list of tasks coming from task DAO dot get all tasks. So we are taking all the tasks, and then we are storing in our all tasks parameters we just defined. And this parameters, the property of these parameters are the live data list of tasks. So this should be a list of tasks with live data. Okay, so another one is suspend function of the insert task, where we are passing a task, and and then we are directly assigning the task to the. Okay, this should return something long, and we will return it. Okay, so whatever property is coming from here, return object is coming from here, we are returning from here. Okay, this is insert, and we have another suspend function which has update, and update has nothing to return. You can see actually over here, update has nothing to return, and the insert has a long to return. Okay, go to another suspend function to delete, and delete also got nothing to return. And the other one is delete by ID, and this one delete by ID should return the task. And here we should say return by ID, the task ID. Delete task by ID. Okay, this should be, oh no, not delete by, should be get task by ID. Yeah, so we're returning the task by ID. Okay, we say get task by ID. Yeah, so we already have a delete task, and this one should be get task by ID. All right, this one. Okay, all good. This one, let's go check here. The get task by ID should be suspend function, not just function. Suspend function. Okay, so now it's suspend function here also. All right, this one is okay. Now let's go to our view model. We create one class here and say task view model. In here, we need again one private wall. What do we need here? Actually, we need to pass our repository. For our repository, we need a DAO. For our view model, we need a repository. So I say repository and task repository, and this one should extend the view model. Okay, now our view model is, first of all task, we get all tasks from the repository, insert task, and then this one should be, we call a suspend function, and then this one, no, not necessary to be a suspend function. Why? To insert a task, we can use our view model scope. view model scope, and then we say launch, and then here we can just call the repository. Yeah, all right. This third one is update, also the view model scope, the delete one also, and the fun get task by ID. So we'll just say task ID should be long, and then on result, and then on result I just say task, and this should be just a unit, the function. And also we say view model scope dot launch, and we say on result. Yep. Okay, this is our view model. So first of all, we grabbing all the tasks. Second one, we are inserting the task. And the third one, we are updating the task, deleting the task, and taking the task by ID. View model is done. One more thing we actually needed here is the view model factory. I say task view model factory. This one is actually up to you. You want or you don't want is completely up to you. But I really like this one. So whatever you need it in the factory, and whatever you need for your view model, you actually need it over here also. Okay, so here we just say override class, but instead of returning our model class, we will return our view model. We say if our model class is assigned from task view model class Java, then return task view model, and then just pass the repository over here is T. Okay, so we need some unchecked cast. We just put it over here, or else just throw illegal argument exception and say unknown view model class. Yeah, so that's it. Our view model will be returned by our task view model factory. Okay, now we just move our main activity to the UI. Okay, go to the UI, and first of all, go to our home layout, and we will just design our home layout first. Okay, for the saving of time, I will just copy paste my design, and I will show you what I'm doing here. Okay, first we have a linear layout with vertical orientation. Second, we have like a material card, which is actually the top app bar. We just customly build our app bar, and the first thing in there is again one linear layout with orientation vertical. There are two texts. One is the task manager text, which is title, and the second one is subtitle text. And below that, we have one material button, which has like the add new task, and also the icon with the IC input 8. Okay, below that, we actually added one of our recycler view, which you cannot see because there is no item. And below that, we have our empty state. So our empty state currently is the visibility is gone. You cannot see it, but I will just make it visible first. So this is our empty state below below our recycler view. So what will happen if there is no task? We will just hide the recycler view and show only the empty state. If there is a data, we will hide the empty state and show the recycler view only. So for now, we keep it gone. The other one is we actually need one more UI here, and that UI will be our dialog task. This UI we will be using for our add and update task. Okay, So let's copy paste here, and you will see what we edit here. In our dialog, we have our scroll view, start from the scroll view, and then we have the linear layout with the vertical orientation. You can actually find this code in the description. The link is there, so you can just copy from there also. And then we have a title, and then we have our task title input, and we have our description input, and then we have some text over here, the priority, and we have radio groups icons, and where we will set the low, medium, the priority level. And then we have our checkbox for if the task is completed or not. And then below that, we have our material button, which is cancel, and our material button for the save. Okay, and one more thing we need over here is we will create one more item task for our recycler view, how our task shell looks like. And again, I will just copy paste over here and explain to you. Okay, this is our task design. You can see we start from the material card, and we have linear layout with a horizontal view. And then we have a view, which actually we will be using to say, you put the colors, if it's orange, the medium, red for the low, and the high for the green. Okay, and then we have a vertical linear layout for our title and description, title and then description, and then we have another layout for to show the severity for the priority. Okay, we need to add these two drawable. So actually I have one is the status, one is the priority. I have both. I will just copy and paste here. Okay, I will just design these two and I put over here. So now you can see everything is ready. All right, you just close this one and go to the main activity. But before going to the main activity, we need to create the adapter. So for the adapter, I go to the UI and create one more folder. I say name this as adapter and create one class. And this class should be task adapter. Okay, so what this task adapter should do is actually in constructor, we pass some of the parameters. First thing is the list of the task. And the list of the task, initially it should be empty list. Okay, and then on item click, we say on item click. This one is actually a callback method. And then we say on long item click, also the callback function. And then actually no more, we just have like a item click and on long item click. Both are the callback function. And then what should be extended here, we say RecyclerView dot adapter, and then adapter should have a task adapter, and this adapter should have a task view holder. Let's create this task view holder. Create class task view holder, or we can just create by ourselves. First of all, we say class holder and turn view. This one should not the view, because we are using the binding, so we need to say private wall binding item task binding, and then we extend the RecyclerView dot view holder binding dot root. Okay, and okay. This one shouldn't be inner class, just the class. Okay, nothing more. Let's do like this, and yeah, now it will look a little bit cleaner. fun bind task on click task unit on long click task unit. Yeah, so let's create this binding function, and we say bind tv task we title. For the title we assign a title, for the description we assign a description, and then for the priority.task we say get priority text. Okay, and then you can actually see what we already saw. We already defined this one, so you don't need to be too much confused. And then we say binding dot TV status, and then this TV status should have a text, and if the task dot is completed, then we say completed, else we say pending. Okay, let's say data binding priority indicator. So let's say the indicator set the background color should be the, yeah. So for the indicator, we set the background color. The indicator is actually this one where you are seeing the complete or the pending. Okay. And then we have like a, let's take the context out of the context. And this should be the binding dot root dot context. And we say if task dot is completed, then we say binding dot tv task title dot set text color, and this should be the context compact dot get color context, and r dot color dot gray. Okay, the r should be imported. Okay, actually we need to import some colors also. For that one, I will also just quickly copy paste the colors. Okay, these are my colors. Let's go and see. The gray is working fine now. The second one is the binding dot TV status dot set text color. Same thing, the context compact dot get color, and then we pass the context and r dot color dot green. So we give the indicator their colors, and now we are setting the colors over here. Let's see the else part. The else part, we just copy up this one and paste over here. Then we have black and white. So if the task is completed, this should be the task, the title, and the status color. And this one, if it's not completed, then this will be the status color. Okay, and let's go to binding dot root dot on set on long click listener, and we say on item click, and we pass the task. And this one we will just define two methods. Other one is binding dot root dot set on just click listener. Same thing. This should be on long item click. This one should be on item click. Both we need to pass the task. And for this one, the long one, we just say true. Okay, then this is our view holder. let's below the view holder, what we need to do is actually create the, let's go here and implement. Okay. First thing on create view holder. On the create view holder, what do we need? We say wall binding is equal to item task binding dot inflate, and then we say layout inflator from parent dot context, and we say parent and false, return task holder binding. Okay, and then we go to the item count. In the item count, we just say integer is equal to tasks dot size, and the real job is here on the view on the bind view holder. On the bind view holder, we just grab we just say take one task from all the tasks, and it should be position. And then we say holder.bind task on click listener. Okay, all this cool. For the update, fun update task. Tasks is equal to new task notify data set change. Okay, when we update, okay, it should be tasks. Okay, this should be war. No, cool. So when we update the task, we assign actually the task to our task, and also we will be calling our view model to update the task. Okay, so this is the adapter is done. Let's go to our main activity. In our main activity is our final brush up. Okay, let's say private late init var, and we take we initialize our view model, task view model, and then we say private late init var, and then we initialize our adapter, and then private late init var, and then this one we say binding. Okay, let's remove these two lines, and now we say, okay, still don't need this. Binding is equal to from template, and then this is what, okay, actually my autocomplete is actually because of my Gemini. You can use the Gemini to help you in autocomplete. Okay, so on create, we need to create 4 methods. One is to set up our view model. Second is to set up our RecyclerView. Third one is set up our click listeners. Fourth one is observe tasks. Okay, all right, we create the first one. Rename, reference, set up view model. Anyway, just create private function and say setup view model, and start setup view model. First thing we say wall database is equal to app database task database dot get instance, and we pass the context. The second one is the repository, task repository, and now our view model. So we say wall view model factory is equal to task ViewModel factory, and we pass the repository there, and then we say view initialize the ViewModel with ViewModel provider. ViewModel provider should be this, and ViewModel factory with task ViewModel. Yeah, this is our ViewModel initiated. Okay, now let's, this one should be s small private function setup RecyclerView, and here we say adapter is equal to task adapter, and this one should have on click, and on click should be task. So we say show task dialog and pass our task. We will create this function also. Create the function task dialog. Okay. This is our task dialog. Let's say this click, this is our show dialog, click. Okay, and not only this one, show task dialog, private function show task. Yeah. Okay. Show task dialog. Oh. Second one is on item long click, yeah, to delete the task, and then our adapter is initiated binding dot adapter. So this one is the ID of our recycler view, and be passing the first of all, I think we need to define the rv task dot layout manager, which should be linear layout manager, and then pass the context. Okay, and now set up quick listener, and then let's create our opt private function, and this one should be observe task, and in observe task we say view all tasks coming view model all tasks are observed. When all task is coming, we observe it and get all the tasks, and then we are passing to update the task over here. Okay, but before that, and let's see here, if task dot is not empty, is empty actually, then we should show the empty view, right? Binding dot test dot visibility is equal to view dot gone, and binding dot empty state dot visibility is equal to view dot visible. Okay, and else we just revert it. Yep, nothing more. Okay. That's it. Okay, let's go to create this one, the show dialog one. First of all, we name it as a existing task, which should be task, is equal to null. Currently the existing task is null, and we save all dialog binding, and this should be dialog task binding dot inflate. We say layout inflator, and then wall dialog in dot x complete. We don't need this to add all the, just import it. Android, yeah, just import. Okay, and then dot create. Now we need to define the property of the dialog. First of all, let's say existing task dot let we say task, and we say dialog binding dot et title dot set text, and this should be task dot title. Description and priority dot is oh sorry, this should be cv completed dot is checked and is equal to task dot is completed. Okay, all right, so let's go to the priority part. We say when task dot priority, here is the cool part, check true dot rb medium dot is checked is equal to true, and then 3l is checked is equal to true. Okay, this is our, and here we say dialog button dot set on click listener. No, not this one. We say dialog binding dot button save dot text is equal to update. Okay, this is only if our existing task is not null. If it is null, that's a different story. Okay, and below this one we say dialog binding dot button cancel dot set on click listener, and then we say dialog dismiss, and the save list, when you click on the save, that's different story. Here we will say wall title is equal to dialog binding dot et title. We grab the text from our edit text title and trim it and store it in title, and also the description, same for the description. And then we say if title dot is empty, dialog dot dialog binding dot et title dot error is equal to title is required, and we return, okay, return onset click listener. Okay, let's set the priorities, all priorities, and we say when dialog priorities, the check radio button, and this one should be r.id.rb low 1, r.id.rb medium 2, I3 and 1. Okay. Then we say check completed. We just take the check from the is completed, and then also we say if, no, not if, we just wall task is equal to existing task and dot copy, and we say title is equal to title, description will be description, priority will be priority, and this one should be is completed will be is completed, and the here, okay, same old thing here also. Okay, we created the task. Now we say if existing task is not equal to null, sorry, then ViewModel dot update task and pass the task. Else ViewModel dot insert task and pass the task. Once this is done, we say dialog dot dismiss, and here we say dialog dot show. Set a one-click listener. Also, we say binding dot a task. We just show the task dialog, and for the recycler view, this one we shouldn't directly call it. We say show. Let's show delete confirmation, and we pass task. Let's create this function also, and here we simply just say alert dialog builder, and here we just say dot set title, and title we say delete task dot set message, and message we say are you sure you want to delete what do you want to delete. I say task dot title, and then dot set positive button, and here we say delete, and on click listener what should be done, underscore again underscore and then unit, and this one is we say view model delete task set negative button. We just say do nothing and just show the dialog. Okay, I think we almost completed, almost done with it. Let's run our application now. How does it look like? Okay, our application is up and running. Let's click on the, so there is no task, so it's showing our empty view. Let's add some task. I'll click on the button and the dialog is showing, and here I will say simple task 1, and this is my simple task for today, and the priority I set medium and save. Okay, this is my task, and then I add like testing 2, and then this is just for testing, and this one I kept it as high and save. You can see the color over here. Now the high is red and the medium is orange, and I will just say and other task. My channel need one subscriber, and we kept it as a low. Okay, now you see the green, red, and orange is the color of the priority. Now you want to change this one, update it. So you want to change this testing to from testing to just testing, and this one you want to add some more line, and from high you want to make it yellow and make it completed. So now you see the change is completed, and this one is gray, all the text, and this is how now become green. And if you want to make it high and remain it completed, now you see the red. And then if you want to change to the complete name, I say changed, and now you see changed. And if you want to make it again incomplete, it's again now active. Okay, this is our task manager application, and hope you enjoy the tutorial. And if you want me to improve something, or you want me to make some video on any of the topic, let me know in the comment section. And thank you so much for the watching, for your time and everything. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you again for being with me.